Okay, you guys, here I am again. I guess we're going to start a new thread or a new topic about the topic of croaking. I was just thinking about the dance this morning and how I had the experience of my mom, and so I thought I would start talking about it and thinking about it in a little more detail. So when my dad died, I actually took care of both my parents. We moved them into an apartment in my house, and I took care of both of them while they were having their transition experiences. When my dad died, um, his dad had been a hellfire and brimstone minister, and so he had been tortured a lot by religion and religious space experiences over the course of his life. And although he went into education and spent a lot of time in philosophy and spirituality and trying to think and be bigger than his experiences, I know that those experiences were really dominant while he was in his transitioning process. And when he died, he was 92, I think. Anyway, but when he died, I felt literally 9 decades worth of freedom and excitement. I had told him that I knew he was going to be free, and he wanted to believe me. We had conversations about it. He wanted to believe me, but he really didn't believe me. And the thing that was holding him through it was that he knew he was going to be with his mom, and he was excited to be with his mom again. So it was a really fascinating experience. Right after he transitioned, it was about midnight, and I went out on my deck, and I could just feel I had this open yard, and the sky was huge, and the deck was open, and it didn't have any barriers, no railings or anything on it at that point. And I could just feel the expansiveness of how he was. And so it was a really powerful and lovely, fabulous, inspiring, awakening moment. So then when my mom passed, I had expected some same kind of big experience, and it was so interesting. She went in the afternoon, and I had a class that night, and we were scheduled to go to Hawaii, and so I was still going to go to Hawaii, so I was getting ready to leave. And anyway, there was lots of hubbub going on, unlike when my dad passed. But when my mom went, there's all sorts of hubbub in my day and in my life. And so nothing really happened, or nothing that I noticed. And so when I went to bed that night, I woke up in the morning, and I literally felt like I had black hair and brown eyes, because it wasn't having an experience of my mother. It was like I was my mother. She was me. She was inside me, looking out. It was super interesting and curious and not really intense, but kind of intense. And anyways, that was the last thing that I talked to Abraham about in the hot seat was it her? And they said, of course, especially people like us who are more aware of the eternal connection and our eternal states of being, we are open to those kind of experiences. So really cool that I had those experiences, and there's a lot more details to it that I can get into, and maybe if we keep this thread going, maybe we will. But this morning, that's what I realized. Thinking back about what happened this morning, was that that's really what it was I was channeling my mom. She loves that Broadway musical stuff, Fred Astaire, and she would dance in the living room. And I'm sure when I was little, she must have danced with me. And maybe that was why I was so shut down about dancing. But anyway, so when I was dancing this morning, it felt to me like she was definitely there, definitely dancing with me. So I'd love to know if you guys have any experiences about croaking, experiences of your own or of people near you. Anyway, firsthand stories are super fun. Secondhand stories are fun as well. I would just want to hear from you about whatever kind of stories you've had in your experience that make you know, oh, right. So let me just add one more thing. After my mom went, her best friend actually was very in a high level of distress about mom's transition. And so later on in the week, when I talked to her, what I discovered was that she went immediately to her friend's side, because when I told her friend that you know, the time had come and mom had transitioned. She knew exactly what time it was, you know, what day and what time it was. She said, oh, it was here and it was then I had an experience of her. She definitely came to me. So that was part of my story, was that I didn't have an experience of her right away because she was busy going to other people who needed the experience of her when I didn't. Anyway, really cool, fun stuff. I'm sure we can get a lot of really fun stories. So call, write, record your stories. Let's hear them. Okay, thanks. Love you guys. Bye.